All right, this will be a very brief explanation to these ACT questions. All right, so what it says here is you're tripling to get to the center. So if you triple this to get to the center, that means that from here to the center would be 72, because 24 times 3 is that. Then you got to double to get to the other side, so it's another 72. 72 and 72 is 144. The answer is A. Down here we solve this out like a regular algebra problem. Move the 7 over, so 4x is equal to -1. You can divide each side by 4/5 or multiply by the reciprocal. X is equal to -5/4, which would be J. Turn the page. We have to divide the number of petals into the revolutions here. So we get 9760 divided by 80 compared to 9760 divided by 61. This one is 160 and this one is 122. So the difference between the two is 38. A square has a perimeter of 36. That means it's 9 on a side, because 9 times 4 is 36. Since it's 9 on a side, 9 times 9 is 81. So the area is K. Number 5, you want to find this missing coordinate here. So what I did is I just started like drawing this out like so, over to here like this, and it's basically this would fit into here, this would fit into here, because the principles of geometry. So this is a 4 and 2 relationship here, so that means this has to be 4 and 2. So if I go up 4, that would be 7, and over 2, that'd be 6. So it'd be 6, 7 would be that coordinate point. 6, 7 is D. All right, next 5 here. It says 5 times as many as your brother, so that'd be your brother, and then 5 times as many is equal to 42. So we have 6x is equal to 42, and that would be x is 7. So that would be the brother, and then she would have 5 times as more, h 35. The interior angle of a right angle, so we have a right angle, DEF, then which of the following could be a measure of GEF? So if the one angle is 90 degrees, and the other two can only add up to 90, so those are all too big. So the answer is A. Number 8, we have t-shirts. We have 3 t-shirts, and we have 3 pairs of shorts. So when you have 3 of one and 3 of another, you multiply, because it's an and situation. You have to get a t-shirt and a short. So the answer is J, 9. 20% of a number would be, 20% of that would be 4. And then that's 50% of what number? So that's 50% of some number, so I would double it. So that would be 8. And the last one here, we have 45 musicians, and they all play 2 instruments, and it wants to know the maximum possible members who play both the piano and the violin. Well, there's 22 people who play the violin, and then all 22 of them could play the piano, so the answer is 22. All right, to number 11, the next 5. If this gets bigger than the 196, then we're looking for the square roots of negatives and things like that. So we need a real value for n. So if we put 14 in there, we get 196 is equal to 196. Oops. 196 minus n squared. So that would be 0 is equal to negative n squared, and then 0 is equal to n squared. So you could find an answer for that. N would be 0. That would be the last time you could do it. Anything after that, it wouldn't work. So the answer is A, 14. Phil is saved $800. It's $925 is what he wants. He's getting it off. So he's getting off 1/5, which means he's keeping 4/5. And then he's adding on sales tax, which is 1.05. So that's adding on to the dollar. If you multiply those 3 things together, it's $777. So that means he's getting back $23 from his $800. Imaginary solution is the square root of the negative, which would be D. Difference of two perfect squares. And if you look at G here, this times this would make the first one, that times that would make the last one, and then the plus minus cancels everything out. So the answer is G. Number 15, you're just figuring out the area of the shaded part. So you can just count here. If you put those together, that's 1. Put together, that's 1. This piece with this piece here, that's 1 because it's a half and a half. Put this together, that's 1. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 whole squares. D. All right, the next 5. Whoa. This one here, this is a function, and it gives you percent, and for time, you just put 20 in for t, so it's 0.001 20 squared plus 0.4 times 20. You just type that in the calculator, gives you an answer of J. The next one here, we're just comparing rates, so it's 440 for 8 and 186 for 3. That divides out to 55 cents a piece and 62 cents a piece. So it's a 7-cent difference. That would be answer A. This is a factoring question. It's just like the difference of two perfect squares was factored. So when you multiply like bases, you add the exponents. So the answer would be G. The next question, number 19, he basically did 50 pieces for 3.5 hours, which is 175 pieces that he laid. He did a total of 280 for the day, so 280 minus 175 is 105, and it's a rate of 35 per hour, so you divide that by 35. Answer 3, B, 3 hours. Midpoint is just the average, so you just average 1 and 7, and that would be 8 divided by 2 is 4, so it's one of those two. Add those together, you get -8 divided by 2 would be -4, so the answer is H. All right, the next 5. Michael's fencing here. Here's his house. The fence goes like this and this. So it's the 16 side, the 22 side, and the 16 side. So you add those three numbers together. 16 plus 16 plus 22, and you get 54. So he needs 54 feet of fencing. That's number 21. Okay, the y-intercept. So if you solve for y, it gives you the y-intercept. So we get subtract over the 7x, we get -3y is equal to -7x plus 21. You're going to divide by -3, divide by -3, divide by -3. That's the y-intercept right there. We don't need the slope, just the y-intercept. So it's -7, which would be F. The flower grew at a rate of 2.4 centimeters over 8 days, which is 0.3 centimeters a day. So then it grew from here to there. That's 1.5 centimeters divided by 0.3. Well, that would be 5 days later. So 5 days after the 8th would be the 13th. So the answer is C. This one here is just straight up simplifying the algebra. Distribute that, so it's 2x to the third minus x minus 1. Distribute the negative, -3x to the fourth minus 6x to the third plus 6x squared plus 3x minus 9. So boom, 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 and then this. Okay, we got to put together our like terms, so that's first. So we know the answer is one of those. Then we got to put this with that. So that'd be -4. So the answer is K right away. We know. We don't have to go any farther because that and that make the negative. All right. Next, this is a Pythagorean theorem question. This is x. We have x squared plus 6 squared is equal to 7 squared. X squared plus 36 is equal to 49. Subtract that over, x squared is equal to 13. So it's the square root of 13. Square root of 13 is not an answer. but notice the problem says approximately how many. So 4 squared is 16, 2 squared is only 4, so it's got to be closer to 4 than it is to 2. So the answer is B. All right. And we need the 5 data sets. The mean, the median, the mode are all 8. So the median is the middle number, so that's correct on here. The mode is the most frequent. So all of them, except for this one, has a double mode, have a mode of 8. So you just got to do the average. And when you look at F, if you add those up, you get 40 divided by 5 is 8. So the answer is F. 27. We have to go backwards here. 186, and we have to divide by. So we're adding and dividing, adding and multiplying to get the new number. So we have to go backwards from the 4th term to the 2nd term. So we're going to divide by 3 first. That gives us 62. Then we got to subtract 2, and that gives us 60. That's the 3rd term, so don't get sucked into that answer. And then we got to do the same thing. We got to divide by 3 to get 20, and then subtract 2 to get 18. That would be the 2nd term. So you got to do that process twice because you're going from the 4th term to the 2nd term. So the answer is 18. Which one does not work? You put a number here, take the absolute value, it has to be greater than or equal to 12. 9 is an issue because that minus that is only 6, and 6, absolute value is 6. 6 is not greater than 12, so the answer is 9. Last two that I'm going to go over in this video. If we add the numbers together, we get 29, but notice V is larger than S, so if we substitute that in, V plus T plus U, that would have to be greater than 29, because those 3 make 29, so if you did that, put that bigger number in, that would be greater than 29, and that would be this choice right here, where they substituted that in. Okay, we're finding the missing angle here. This is a straight line here, so we know this has to be 25 degrees, because 25 and 155 make the 180. That's a rectangle, so that's 90. So this plus this has to be 90, so 65 would do that. 65 and 25 make the 90, plus the 90 makes the right angle there. So the answer is H, 65 degrees.